we're actually exploring In the Lake of the Woods by Tim O'Brien, and this is beautifully structured. So today in class, I will be asking the students to create a concept map where I am hoping that they will explore John's past and begin to draw connections between his past and his present, to be able to identify those factors and those influences in his past that have made him the individual he is today. Now, for the last couple of weeks, we've been exploring John's past. We've been investigating his past and trying to unravel the secrets of his mind and trying to understand what makes him the individual he is today. We've been trying to make connections between his past and his present. Now, I want you to think about all that, to reflect on what we have been considering earlier. Make a concept map of John, all right? But we'll be making this concept map in a very structured way. The first is, I would like you to just brainstorm on another piece of paper, just list all the ideas that you can think of regarding the influences or the impact of his past and his recent present on making him the individual he is today. So what were all the influences? List those first. Some of these ideas that you have listed here, you will realize that some of them are most central to making him the individual that he is today, while others may be more tangential. I'd like you to use this map, this concept map here, and place these ideas according to their degree of importance. The ones which you feel are more central and more absolutely essential to make him what he is, place them closer to the center. And the others which may have had an impact on him, but may not be such a direct one or such an important or central one, place them on the sides. Some ideas may lead to others. There may be some sort of a connection. Identify the connection in your mind and draw lines to connect the ideas. 2 ideas may be connected, 5 may be connected. If you can make connections and identify why you feel one idea is linked to another, write that on the line. Is it the cause of the other idea? Did this somehow lead to it? Was it an extension? Was it the outcome? You may use a phrase, a sentence, or just a word to identify what the connection is. As you see, Ronnie,
Still
you're
will draw
absolutely
lines
right.
between all of them.
You just have to draw off
If you can identify what the connection is, yes. If you are drawing lines between all of them, as long as you can see the connection, that's fine.
Okay.
The key ideas that you had identified earlier, and extend them, elaborate on them. What other ideas come to your mind? What was the impact on John? How was this impact manifested in his current behavior? You can use bubbles to identify this next stage. You may use a different color pen if you want. This is your understanding of John, his past and his present. You've actually generated ideas on your own, you've sorted them out, you've made connections, and then you have elaborated. Now I want you to work as a group, share ideas with each other, come to some sort of a consensus as to which ideas are more central than others, place them, do the same sort of thing again, same structure you adopt, and on this overhead, I would like you to follow those 4 steps and create one common concept map.
What we do is we put like Vietnam War can be like a title, and then we can put minor things under
that's
that.
the main thing, and then from that
We'll
other
put
things come
minor
on.
things as well.
Yeah.
And that's why we think of the main point first and then write it under that.
Yeah.
What do we want to do?
Or just
Major point and then minor points, and then we'll go on to another major point.
Just let's get the major points first, and then we'll elaborate.
Magic.
I think the election didn't have that big an effect.
I think his father had a bigger effect than the election.
Look more, we've finished with the father.
No, it's just,
His father had a bigger effect in the elections, so that's why his father's closer.
Yeah, so the election should be like there.
And the election's blue.
Started there.
There?
Yeah.
The magic's less than the election,
No,
no?
the magic would
no,
be
the
more.
magic would be more.
So
The magic and the father would
magic
be the exact
green
same
as well.
thing.
Yeah, magic would be great as well.
when I was walking around and just listening into the students' discussion, what I was looking for was which were the points that they were actually debating. Was there some point which made more sense to one student than the other? They are actually considering the advantages and disadvantages, or shall we say the more serious consequences of one over the other. And that's what I was listening for.
Kathy's majorly close.
No, I don't think so.
Are you joking?
Yeah, I don't think so close.
She's really not that close.
Didn't have an impact on his life. Okay.
No, not there.
No,
Then we're not
Put it
putting
there.
like.
I put her with blue. I put her up here
Why?
in blue.
because there's room there and she's blue.
Alright. But I think we should put Kathy because we'll need to do the line thing, so I think we should put it.
Kathy's near the election.
And
No,
Magic.
she has to do with the father as well, though.
Let's just put it
Not that
here.
low though.
Right here.
Higher.
No, not high. Right
Why?
there, right where it is. Right where it is. Remember, relax.
But Kathy has to do with the Vietnam.
So Kathy's green. What about the Thuận Nguyen or whatever it is?
Yeah, that's
part of the
Vietnam.
war. You can stem it off if you
What
want.
colour should I do it? Should I do it in green? No, that was pretty important. Red.
Yeah. I'm gonna check the book. You can check your notes.
But I will.
Very good. And the fact that he killed 2 people would have an effect.
So
on
murders.
Got it. It's
Is that-
J.
Really
Yeah, but that's
murders
your
in a war.
notes.
Okay, fine.
Of course,
I'll
that's how
check
you
the
spell
book.
it.
Killing.
One of them was definitely murder. Actually, no, they were both murders.
Alright, so what colour?
Red, black, and then red over it, because it's all the same
Red.
topic.
For him, magic is that sort of twist of the hand that you don't see, and like a sorcerer never reveals their tricks, and that sort of like it's more manipulation of what you're seeing and the vision that you're seeing rather than the actual act of magic.
Yeah, but what you're saying is right as well, that it may be a very indirect link. It may not be directly connected, but there is a connection, even though it is very, very.
Yeah.
So wait, we were writing that down. No.
Yeah. But that for magic and manipulation were the same thing for you.
When I looked at the students and I listened in on their discussion, I realized that they were very comfortable in bringing forth their ideas. They were able to see the other person's point of view, but they were quite certain about why they felt the way they do.
It also affected the selective memory.
Ah.
Very impressed.
Thank you.
Not really.
What the hell are you talking about? Positive.
Do I connect it to Kathy?
Not really.
No, just right.
Explain.
Selective memory affected the PTSD. No, not even. Not even. The selective memory he always had because he always had the black book
Selective memory links to Kathy to death or possible disappearance.
Where do I put this red line?
Down
It's
there.
going up to Kathy.
Thank you. I thought I went to Kathy.
We told you it went to Kathy.
Stop in the middle, stop there, and go selective memory in black. Put a box around it, and then go up to Kathy.
Relive
Talk to
situations in his head about his father coming out, him walking out into the backyard, and his father being like, "You want to go to the baseball or something?" And it was always just happy memories in his head, but the father's already dead.
An ideal father as far as he was concerned.
Yeah, in his head.
Like he imagined
What-
going to the
wasn't-
garage and tipping out the alcohol and stuff. But
No.
that was after he's dead. That wasn't when he was alive. He imagined that.
But wasn't the father nice except when he was drunk?
No.
No, what about the times he called him, jiggling?
He was never,
wasn't
in his
that-
father's eyes, he never was seen as perfect or good enough.
Escape needs to be linked to something.
What else?
Linked to words.
Escape.
Escape has to do
It
with
can be linked to
Kathy
every.
as well.
Escape's linked to everything. It's
I would say
linked.
escapes like.
Escape's linked to
Selective memory,
Vietnam
the PTSD, and to Kathy
and
as
to
well.
magic.
Oh my god, this is way too much for me.
I observed that a lot of you had contradictory opinions about, conflicting ideas about certain placements of ideas and the connections that were made. When you come up here to present, I'd like you to make sure that you focus on those so that those issues are raised and we can all explore that issue further. Are you ready to present?
We'll be able to ask questions when the group
Yes,
is presenting.
yes. You may ask questions indeed. The whole idea is to explore this issue.
What we did is we made anything in red was had the biggest effect upon him, and anything in green was sort of in the middle, and anything in blue it had an effect, but it was minimal. And so we decided that the Vietnam War and those effects had the biggest impact on his life. And so there's Vietnam War and how do you say it?
On Yen,
Tong Yen.
without a G.
Then the murders, how he committed murders against. He killed PFC Weatherby and he killed the guy with the hoe. And that would have had an effect on him because killing someone would, and that could have led to something like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which again links to things like Kathy.
Any major ideas, any ideas that were contradictory? I mean, people, you seem to have a bit of a discussion about certain ideas, placing which idea where, or the connections. Can you just mention one or two that you differed on? You had different...
The issues with his father, there was a bit of a dispute about how much of an effect they had.
The proximity of where we're going to put Kathy as well. Some members of the group thought that Kathy should be closer, and some members thought that she should be further away. But the ones we had no debate about were Vietnam and magic, because they were really the two main themes in the book which affect the overall outcome of both of them disappearing, which is magic, 1 + 1 = 0.
Good, well done. Any questions, people?
They weren't really murders at Tuan Yen, like the people. Like they were accidents.
The reason we were trying to decide whether we should say murders or killing, and we decided that it was murders because the two people he killed, one of them was in war, you can kill whoever you want and it's not considered murder necessarily. But what he did was, number one, he killed one of his soldiers, which would be murder if he got found out and trialed for it. And the other one was, what happened in Tuan Yen was considered murder because none of the people were BC soldiers or whatever.
Viet Cong.
Yeah.
This routine, generate, sort, connect, and elaborate, worked beautifully because although in the past we have made concept maps, they have made flowcharts, but we haven't really staggered the steps in this manner. The concept maps enabled me to see the links that the students are making, the connections they are making between the different things. It enabled me to see how they are elaborating and they are able to support their ideas with evidence. The concept maps made me see the numerous ideas that can be generated, and it gave me an insight into their understanding that the past few weeks that we've been discussing the book, they have been able to take out the global issues and begin to form connections and links between all of them. And they had a very good overall understanding of the character that we're talking about, the protagonist, John Wade.